Anywhere in the States, you're going to find a campus like this.
Be part of the future with the Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
CNN Headline News, I'm Bob Losure. It's a day of decision for voters and delegates in 3 states. Presidential primaries are going on in South Carolina and Arizona. And in Wyoming, delegates are being chosen for that state's conventions and county caucuses. From those delegates, ones will be chosen for the national convention. And it looks like Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton has taken the state in the county caucuses so far out in Wyoming. This is the way it looks at this hour. Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton with 68 delegates. That's 31% of the delegates, with 78% of the caucuses reporting in. As you see, Jerry Brown of California with 53. The uncommitted slate with 47 delegates. That's 22% of the total. As we go on down now, Tom Harkin with 37. Paul Tsongas 25. That's the way it looks in the Wyoming polls right now in their delegate count. The polls have just closed in South Carolina at this hour, where Democrats and Republicans alike headed to the voting booths. Voters are expected to extend a little more Southern hospitality to Governor Clinton. A Democratic primary is also being held in Arizona. Fellow frontrunner, former Senator Paul Tsongas of Massachusetts, hopes to win there and tarnish some of the glory from Clinton's expected win in the Palmetto State. 3 of the 4 major Democratic candidates participated in a forum on health care in Miami today. The discussion was sponsored by, among others, the National Healthcare Policy Council and the University of Miami School of Medicine. Governor Clinton hopes today's races can help him run away with the front-runner status going into Super Tuesday. He and Paul Tsongas are arguing back and forth, accusing each other of distorting their stances on Social Security. And each says the other is dividing the party racially and ethnically. And in the midst of all the rhetoric, Clinton did focus on a few issues.
I want to say to the workers of this country, here is what I owe you. Affordable health care, lifetime education and retraining, a good economic policy so you will live in a growing, not a shrinking economy. Here is what you owe the rest of us. You've got to be willing to change every work rule, every job classification, everything you do on the job every day to make change your friend, not your enemy.
President Bush is fishing for support of his own. He did some campaigning today in Florida ahead of the voting there on Super Tuesday, and then on to Alabama for a little rest and recreation. For the first time this presidential season, Mr. Bush faces 2 contenders. In South Carolina's primary, rival Pat Buchanan and former Ku Klux Klan leader David Duke are also on the ballot. But the incumbent says he's not worried.
I think we're in very good shape in the primary states. I don't know how you all felt, but I felt that the response we've been having is very enthusiastic. The crowds have been superb, and so I'm just coming at it from a position of real confidence.
Buchanan is vowing not to give up his campaign to defeat President Bush and claim the nomination for the Republican Party. The former media commentator says he'll claim success if he merely pushes President Bush to the right. Candy Crowley reports on Buchanan's strategy.
See ya. Good to see ya.
Pat Buchanan went to the Alamo the other day. It seemed an appropriate locale for the man who says he's out to save the Republican Party.
Has anybody seen Dan Quayle? Let's go quail hunting today.
Though Buchanan has proven his ability to wound the Bush quail campaign, his chance of an actual kill is a long shot. Campaigning this week through Texas, a state he has no chance of winning, Buchanan showed no signs of quitting.
We're going to put a lot of time in Michigan, run into Illinois, and we're going to go on to California because this campaign's about the heart and soul of the Republican Party as well as the nomination.
Party insiders worry Buchanan may go too far.
I think if Buchanan continues his candidacy beyond the next few weeks, then there's certainly a danger point. Equally as important, Buchanan may decide that he doesn't want to stay in the Republican Party, that he wants to run as an independent.
Let the good times roll. Democrats couldn't agree more. The spectacle of a family fight within the GOP has Democrats salivating.
Democrats may be enjoying this battle right now, but if we get nominated, I'm taking Democratic votes to Mr. Bush, and we will take them from the Democratic nominee in November. You take it easy.
Despite the rhetorical bravado and the adrenaline of the campaign trail, in his heart of hearts, Buchanan knows that the White House is beyond his reach. If asked, he will talk of a George Bush campaign in the fall.
He's got to sharpen his differences and disagreements with the Democrats and come back to conservative Republican territory. And if he does, and he gets nominated, he can win the Buchanan brigades and he can win the re-election.
How you doing? Good to see you.
For now, the Republicans' right-wing rebel says he intends to support the GOP nominee. As Buchanan winds his way through the Super Tuesday states, the question which follows him on the campaign trail is whether or when his efforts to move the party to the right will end up bringing it down in November. Candy Crowley, CNN, San Antonio.
President Bush and Israeli officials continue to express concern about 2 North Korean cargo ships near the Persian Gulf. The vessels are believed to be heading for Iran and eventually Syria with advanced Scud missiles. The U.S. and Israel fear that shipment might threaten the Jewish state. Bush administration officials say the U.S. Navy is prepared, if ordered, to intercept the ships. However, no decision has been publicly revealed. Iraq is calling on Jordan for help in easing United Nations sanctions against Baghdad. Today, Iraqi Deputy Prime Minister Tariq Aziz discussed the issue with King Hussein before heading on to New York for a meeting tomorrow with UN officials. Aziz's trip follows new charges that Iraq is refusing to comply with UN resolutions calling for the elimination of its weapons of mass destruction. The UN has warned Iraq of severe consequences if Baghdad does not implement those resolutions. In Azerbaijan, the fighting over the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh shows no signs of ending. Today, Azerbaijan's prime minister vowed to escalate the fighting against Armenia for